Hey my little party animals, hiphiprenee here today with a brand new speed build for you. And as you can see today, we are building in the beautiful Strangerville. And this build is part of the A to Z build challenge that was created by GreenScreen. You will be able to find her channel linked in the description box down below. I am so loving this challenge. This challenge is really fun. It's really clever, and it's a really good way to get out of your comfort zone, mostly, for your builds. You will notice that this build is pretty similar to things that I tend to do on a regular basis, but I can't go crazy for every single build in this one. I have to stick to a few certain ones that I really just want to make sure I'm accomplishing. So we are of course on the letter B. For the letter A, we did an Art Deco house, which was super fun. I really enjoyed doing that. That will be also linked down in the description box below. So if you have not seen letter A, you can definitely go check out that video. It turned out super cool, super cute. I was really proud of it. So that is a fun build. But this time we of course are doing letter B, and I decided to do a bungalow. So this is just a really cute, tiny house. This reminds me of a lot of houses that are classified as bungalows, kind of in the area that I grew up in. I wouldn't say we have a ton of bungalow style houses in my area, but the ones that we do have either look like this or they're very, very small 2-floor homes where the second floor actually used to be the attic. So I actually lived in a house like that for about a year or so with a friend of mine. She had purchased a house and needed someone to kind of just help her out for the first little bit of owning her own house. So I moved in as her roommate in the second bedroom, and our upstairs was very, very tiny. And the reason for that is because the upstairs literally just used to be the attic. So growing up in the area that I did, there were a lot of mill-style buildings, and of course, going along with the mill-style buildings, there were a ton of houses that were built originally for the people who worked in the mills. So a lot of these houses were really, really tiny. They just had a few rooms. Most of them were filled up with beds at one point or another because there were so many people living in these houses together. And at some point down the line, people started, not having to live in the city specifically for mills. So the houses were kind of repurposed into actual homes rather than, kind of like bunk style houses. So that's kind of the inspiration that I took from this. Obviously, this house is very, very small. It has probably been gone through a few remodels. There's probably been new windows added, new doors, that kind of thing. Just a little bit of updating to make the house more livable for a family these days rather than a group of people who are working at a specific place, or maybe just kind of, whoever would live in this style house. I'm not really sure where I was going with that. But I really like the way that this one turned out. This one was super cool, super fun to play around with. I have never actually used this green color on the exterior of a house, and let me say, I am living for it, guys. I really like this color. I'm kind of kicking myself for not having used this before. This is actually one of the swatches from Get Famous. I don't really know what they were going for with this swatch. Maybe it's part of kind of the piratey kind of thing, because there is the walls and the ceiling. The roofing. We actually used the roofing from Get Famous as well. So I'm not really quite sure where they were going with these walls, but I don't know. I like them. I like this color. This is probably my new favorite swatch. So I apologize if you see a bunch of green houses coming up soon, because I really like this one for some reason. I don't know. I've never used it. I think it goes really well with these windows from Seasons, which still I can't decide between Seasons and Strangerville as far as doors and windows are concerned. If you are a builder and you're looking to get a new pack, I would say both of those expansion packs, or actually one of them is an expansion pack. Seasons is an expansion pack. Strangerville is a game pack. But if you're looking for something new to purchase to have some really, really good build items, both of those packs are just absolutely incredible. And one of the things that I really like about Strangerville in particular is the doors and the windows from Strangerville are, first off, really amazing, but they're also really inexpensive. And for the style of doors that you get some really kind of fancy looking doors. I was surprised with how inexpensive they were. Most of the doors, I want to say, are like 50 simoleons, as opposed to some of the other doors, even base game doors that are around 250 simoleons. Like, that's insane. That's way too much for a door. That's crazy. So Strangerville is really, really good for budget builds, but I don't know. These windows from Seasons just really do it for me. I super enjoy them. I think that they go with a lot of different style builds, which I think is really helpful, especially if you kind of have like an eclectic taste as far as what you enjoy building. I know that I really do enjoy doing just very straight up suburban houses, but I really feel like these windows can work with suburban. They work with like craftsman style. They're actually made to be craftsman style, I'm pretty sure, but you can make them rustic. I feel like you could probably fit them into a modern build if you really put your mind to it, but I don't know. I just really like these windows. Highly recommend that pack, the Seasons pack, just for the windows in general. I did have a little bit of trouble as far as these windows. I ended up moving some of them up and down because when I finally went in and started decorating, some of them were just a little bit too high. It did look okay and nice from the outside, but from the inside, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't running into the wainscoting that is on the wall, because I did want to do this interior as, yes, maybe it is, again, it's a little bit of an updated house, but the people who live in here, or the people who, previously lived in here, maybe were not quite up to date with the times. So going with the wainscoting and the wallpaper, I really felt like it brought a really nice down home, just kind of cozy feeling into the build. And that's really what I was going for with this. I feel like that's kind of the signifier of a bungalow, is that it's just really homey and really cozy. Every bungalow I've ever seen or been into has always just had, this really kind of warm feeling, and that's what I was going for here. Now, there's obviously not a lot of space in here, but I do think that I used the space pretty well. So this little bay window area, I ended up sticking in that cats and dogs little kind of nook couch in there. Now, you can't sit at that and actually eat at the table, which is really unfortunate, but I do think it brings like a cool little element of just the way it looks into this build. So if you do play with this build, just keep in mind you can't sit there and eat. You could always switch that out for some chairs if you wanted to just make that a full dining room table instead. But again, especially with things like this A to Z challenge, I really want to go for aesthetics over function. So, there is that. I will say that I did test this house and everything seems to be functioning perfectly, with the exception of course, just that window seat, because it's just not possible. You can't make it work. It's okay. It happens. I think it looks really cute though. But we do have this really large room here that ends up being the kitchen, the dining area, and the living space. So I did make that kitchen really, really tiny, because it is just one wall. There weren't too many other options for me as far as the kitchen. I couldn't really bring it around or loop it around or anything. So I think just having that one little row of countertops, I think it works fine. You don't need to have a ton of Sims in this house. I feel like this would be perfect for, a single mother or a single father with one of their children, maybe even two of their children. You could probably fit a second child's bed into the kids' room that I end up doing. But this house is really not made for, a huge family of Sims. So don't expect to come in here and, have a 6-Sim household and think that it's gonna work for you. That's not this type of house. I did another one of these feature walls. I did this recently in my A-frame cabin and I really like it. I've seen quite a few people do this on Twitter and Instagram recently, and I just feel like it looks super cool. And again, it lends to the fact that this place is very lived in, it's very homey, it's very cozy. I feel like having all of those paintings up there, I mean, I've been living in my house in real life for, I think it's actually 3 years now. We closed on the house about 3 years ago. 2 years ago? I don't remember. I think it's 2. I don't know. Time has gotten away from me, but I still, years later, still don't have things up on my walls. So to have that many things on your wall, you must have been living there for a while, or maybe you're just a really good decorator. I'm not sure. I have been trying to find things to put on my walls, and I'm just very picky about it, apparently, because it takes me years to be able to choose something. It's fine. It's not a big deal. I do really like this bedroom, though. Normally, I have the tendency to do a lot of girl rooms, and I think that's, first off, because I am a girl, and I don't know, I feel like I know what I would like as far as decorations when I was a kid, what I enjoyed when I was a child, and I don't really know how to decorate boys' rooms quite as well. I feel like I still make them pretty girly, but I like the way that this one turned out. I think it's super cute. I really like all the blues. I so rarely use wallpapers in the game, so it was really nice to be able to use this cute little fishy wallpaper. I think it's precious, it's adorable. You could also turn that into a toddler bedroom if you needed to, but just keep in mind, if you do have a toddler in this house, there is no bathtub, so you will not be able to bathe your toddler, which would be super unfortunate. You could probably manage to get one into the bathroom, but you might not be able to have a sink in there as well. I don't know, might take a little finagling, but it could probably end up working. This master bedroom, I will say, is a little bit on the boring side, but I don't know, there wasn't a lot of space in here because it is a very odd shape. But on top of that, I don't know, I didn't really know what to put as far as like on the walls is concerned. This wallpaper was throwing me a little bit, and I don't know, I need some new paintings. I really like the painting that I just put on that side wall over there. I really enjoy that painting, and I wish we had more like that. So we do have that painting in like 4 different swatches, and within those 4 different swatches, there's 4 different patterns, and I think that's super cool, and we need way more paintings like that. I think that is super helpful. I really like being able to mix and match them and kind of put them around and play around with them a little bit, but some of the other paintings that we have, I don't know, they're too much, or they're too stylized, or they look too much like a poster and not a painting. I don't know. I want some new paintings. Hopefully in the new packs we are getting in the upcoming months, paintings are something that we can get, and you know, maybe we'll get some things that we want and we enjoy, and hopefully we won't be too upset at what they end up coming up with. But thank you guys so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, definitely give it a thumbs up down below. If you're new here or you're not new here and you're not subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that little bell so you get notifications every single time I post a new video. I will be back with you guys on Wednesday with a collab with one of my best friends, Josie Gem. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.